Hello, everyone. Welcome this morning to the info day of the AIBC Open Calls. We are from Fondazione Piemonte Innova, the project coordinator of this European project funded by the European Union. We are here today to talk to you about the 4 open calls that we have launched as a project. This project is actually part of one of the Euroclusters project. There are 30 Euroclusters projects funded by the European Commission, and they are tackling different industrial ecosystems. They are also organizing, let's say, different European calls, and they're organizing also different, let's say, support to third parties and to companies, especially SMEs. We are, as you see in this is the entire ecosystem of the Euroclusters, and we are currently tackling this. We're tackling these, let's say, topics. Sorry, some disturbance here, but everything perfect. So we are tackling different topics. We are tackling specifically 5 objectives, each of these Euroclusters, which are networking, innovating, adopting, training, and outreach, all related to the twin transition, so green and digital. As you can see, we are actually part of the AIBC Eurocluster, the one on top left side, and we are around this circle because we are actually tackling more than one industrial ecosystem. We're specifically tackling the digitalization, the digital ecosystem, but also the mobility, the logistics, the manufacturing, and the energy. So just a wrap up, just a really quick information about AIBC. AIBC stands for Artificial Intelligence and Blockchain for a Greener and More Digital Economy, supported by European clusters. This is a project that is all, let's say, coordinated and organized by clusters, by European clusters from different countries. You know that clusters, our main, let's say, objectives is to support companies and research centers and the entire ecosystem of a regional level or a national level in order for them to be more competitive and more digital and, resilient also. So these projects aim specifically to support the cross-fertilization and the adoption of the technology of artificial intelligence and blockchain into 4 different industrial ecosystems, which are manufacturing, mobility, logistics, and energy. As I was mentioning before, these objectives of the let's say, the activities that will be carried out within the project and funded with financial support for SMEs within this project include the adoption of new processes and technologies to reinforce the twin transition, also the development of new solutions, in this case, involving or including AI and blockchain, to support the uptake also of these solutions and these technologies within the different industrial ecosystems, to foster also training and reskilling within the European SMEs, because we know that each day is more, there's a higher need of new skills, new competences, and to keep up with the advance of technology, but not only so. This is something that we want to also foster, and then activate international contacts, because we all know that it's important to work, of course, locally, regionally, at the European level, but also get to know what is happening around us and get to collaborate with new potential partners is always something important. The partnership, here we are. So as I was mentioning, we are a consortium of 6 clusters located in 5 different European countries. So we are, as I was mentioning before, the coordinators, which are Fondazione Piemonte Innova in the Piedmont region and in Italy. And then we have also, because of this topic of the project is technologies implemented in specific ecosystems. So we have, let's say, of the consortium representing this industrial ecosystem as well as the technologies. So we as Piemonte Innova, we represent mainly the technological side. So we are a technology-driven cluster. And also in this region, we are, one of the partners is the Environment Park, which is actually an energy cluster and clean tech cluster. So we have these both competences here. Then we go towards Germany and we find another ICT cluster, which is BWCon. Then we'll go towards Poland next to it, and it's the cluster that is mainly focused on tools, but also on, let's say, is the representative of the manufacturing sector here. Then we go towards Bulgaria in the bottom, and then we have there the ICT cluster Bulgaria, which of course is an ICT cluster. And last but not least, we have the mobility and logistic cluster of the Euskadi region in Basque Country, so representing, let's say, located in Spain, and representing, of course, mobility and logistics. So without further ado, let's deep into this European class, this open call, sorry. As you have maybe already seen and already read in the different posts that you have found, in the different newsletters that you have may received, in the specifically the website of the open calls, we have launched 4 different open calls. They are tackling the main topics that I was mentioning before. They will all open on the 6th of June at midday, and they have 1 or 2 deadlines according to the type of activity they are involving. So the first deadline for all of them is the 5th of September of this year at 17 Brussels time. And then for the 2, they'll have another cutoff date that will be next year. So we have a training open call, which is, of course, as I was mentioning, to contribute to reskilling and upskilling. And this open call is going to be granting up to 5,000 euros to each SME. We have the services and product development call, which is to develop digitalization services and product development. And all of them, of course, had to be, let's say, linked to AI or blockchain applications in the industrial ecosystems. These are according also to some challenges that we have identified until now in the first, let's say, activities that the project carried out. So you will hear them a little bit more about them later on, and they're all in the guidelines of the open calls. The services and product development calls are gonna grant up to 1,500 euros. Then we're passing through the international events. So the international events, as you see as well before, the services and product development have 2 deadlines, and also the international events. The international events is, let's say, support for the costs that a company may have regarding the participation to events in Europe and abroad. They will be able to receive up to 2,000 euros according to the different activities that they are interested in doing, and also the location of the event. But you'll hear this a little bit later too. Then at the end, we have the project proposals, which is, like, say, like the bigger grants that will be issued. This is to support the uptake, the test, and the demonstration of applications related to AI and blockchain within the industrial ecosystems that we have. This has also linked to challenges that have been identified by the project. So you will find these challenges also in the guidelines. I will be presenting them today within the presentations. This also is the only call that is can be presented by at least 2 companies together. There can be more, but that's the requirement, at least 2 companies. And they will be granted in total 65,000 euros. So I will pass the word to my colleagues that were going to explain each of these calls. But I wanted to let you know first that for any questions that you may have, please contact us, write to the AIBC at piemonteinnova.it. You find the email here in the bottom left of the screen. So you can start all the questions, all the information that you need. You can contact us there, and we'll be replying to your emails. And let's say that the most common and the most requested questions that you may have will be also published on the B2Match website in the section of frequently asked questions. So let's continue. And sorry. There's some further information before we started, because it's, of course, important, as I was telling you, to know who can apply to these calls. Of course, I've been talking about SMEs, but there's specifically, let's say, guides and specifically requirements for the SMEs to participate. So We have SMEs and startups in this case, all of course in the form of SMEs, which is small and medium enterprises, following the definition according to the Commission recommendation. You see it in the bottom. So less than 250 employees and an annual turnover of less or equal to 50 million or an annual balance of less or equal 43 million. So this is really important. Also, the other important thing is that all of these SMEs that are participating and requesting and applying to our open calls must be established in the member states of the European Union and the, let's say, or the countries participating in the single market program. You will find here in the presentation, but also in the links and in the guidelines and in all the information that we have already shared, you find the list of these contracts. So only if you are an SME, if you are part of the, let's say, technology part, so you are already working, you produce solutions on artificial intelligence and blockchain, and you also, or you are part of the manufacturing, mobility, logistics, or energy sectors, and are interested in applying these technologies to your, let's say, operations, then you can apply. You have to be part, like this is a requirement that you have to, let's say, check when you are applying to the open calls. Open calls, let's say we are gonna be providing them through a lump sum model. A lump sum model, as is stated here, entitled a fixed payment, which is defined upfront and is set out in the agreement. Of course, after the application, you will be passing to an eligibility process. We'll talk about it a little bit later. And then you will sign an agreement. It can be with us as a project coordination, or it can be with another partner, which is managing the international grants. This agreement is going to be it's going to set out all the conditions or the requirements, all the terms that you must fulfill in order to receive this lump sum. And it also will contain the total of the lump sum model and let's say the payment as the payment instructions. So as it says, these are going to be, in order to be paid, you will have to, the pay is linked, let's say, to reporting. So this part of the reporting is going to be also included in the agreement. So everything is going to be settled there. And this is going to be signed after, of course, the company has been elected. So the payment, each call has its own condition for payment. We'll see them later, but it will mainly be carried at the end of the completion of the activities. Some of them are going to be a little bit, let's say, have not a pre, but a middle financial support. But you have to think that most of them are you'll be receiving at least your, let's say, lump sum at the end when all the activities have been carried out and upon demonstration that they have been carried out. The maximum amount for SME, you know that if you're familiar with the cascade funding and the support to third parties provided through European projects, you know the beneficiaries can participate to different, let's say, open calls within this project, but each SME, a single SME, cannot receive more than 60,000 euros in overall. So you can participate to different of the open calls, but the total sum that you will be receiving from us won't be more than 60,000 euros. If you participate to other Eurocluster projects, then this, let's say, does not apply like to the 30 Eurocluster projects that I already mentioned before. So it's specifically for the calls that we are managing. So now, yes, I give the word to my colleague that is going to start explaining to you the first of the open calls, the training call. So Alessandra, the screen is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Today I will present you the training open call, which is a call that we launched on the 6th of June 2023 and has a deadline on the 5th of September 2023. Here you can find also the QR code that links you directly to the page, to the official page where you can find all the documents referred to this open call, which has a contribution of up to 5,000 euros per SME, starting from a total budget of 150,000 euros. The training activities targeted by this call can be held in presence or online by the participants, and basically include coaching activities, mentoring, interactive training, on-the-job training, and courses. They, as an open call, are actually open to different beneficiaries, which are mainly SMEs and startups, coming from the ICT field, specifically referring to the AI or blockchain, but also from the, let's say, more traditional field, referring then to the manufacturing, mobility, logistics, and energy sectors. The activities which are eligible for funding, according to this call, are basically referring to this kind of activities like digitalization planning related to the introduction and adoption of artificial intelligence or blockchain in your companies, specific implementation of any AI or blockchain processes already present in your company, updates on artificial intelligence and blockchain technologies, how AI and blockchain can support the twin transition, the sustainability and resilience process within your context. They can also include the adoption of new skills related to AI and blockchain technologies, the knowledge transfer mechanism in the field of AI and blockchain, but also in the field of green sustainability and resilience, and finally, the development of business models implementing or adopting, again, this kind of topics. As a proof of your participation, we ask you at the end of the training activity to send us a certificate of the attendance that you and your colleague actually went to the training activity, participated actively to the training activity, as well as a final report related to the training activity that you held. The activities in terms of duration must start after the signature of the agreement and must be completed by September 2024. In terms of eligible costs, it is important to remind that only costs for the training activity itself will be supported by this call. So it means, for instance, that if you have to move from your place to another city, let's say, to get the training, then these costs will not be included, and then you cannot even present them as a form of quotation when applying to the call. Only the costs for the training itself will be supported. Moving then to the other evaluation process and to the selection of the companies. As said before, starting from the total budget we have available, at least 30 companies will receive the financial support. They will be evaluated through an evaluation process that will basically will be split in 3 sections, where you can collect at least 40 points to be selected with a maximum of 50 points, and you will be evaluated according to 3 categories. The first category refers to the relevance of your proposal in terms of specific and general objectives tackled by the training that you apply for. The second section has to do with the coherence of the training activity in terms of sustainability and quality related to the competencies that your participants will acquire through the training, and also according to the coherence with the AIBC objective and goals in general. Finally, the section 3 has to do with the impact, so the contribution that this training activity has to do in terms of enhancing the innovation and digitalization level of the staff participating. Let's move then to the last slide about the training activity related to the timeline. So dates to keep in mind. Publishing date, they are already online from almost 10 days. So Tuesday, June 6th, the 6th of June 2023, these calls have been opened. They will remain open till the 5th of September at 5 o'clock. After that, the evaluation period that will last, let's say, up to 6 weeks from the deadline, will then inform you by mid-October 2023 about the final results. after this, you will have 5 working days after you get let's say the positive feedback. In case you get the positive feedback, then you have 5 working days to let us know if you accept our proposal, and then also to sign the contract with the AIBC consortium. Then you will actually sign the consortium by the end of October, by the end of October, and then you will start the activity. As said before, that must be completed by September 2024. After you complete your training activity, then you will present us the 2 documents that I mentioned, so the certificate of attendance and the final report on the training activity, and then by 60 days, that means up to 2 months, you will receive the fund, the financial support for the training that you followed. Now I leave the floor to my colleague so that she can present the other calls. Thanks.
Thanks, Alessandra. I will focus and I will explain now some more details about another call. This is one of the 2 calls that are organized in 2 deadlines due mainly to the kind of activity that we are going to fund. So I'm talking about the service and product development call, which aims at supporting SMEs in their digitalization process and planning activities related to services and product development. As already cited, just as a recall, we have a total amount of 300,000 euros for this call, equally split among the 2 cutoff, the 2 deadline. And each SME can reach up to 15,000 euros for this call. I suggest you to have a look at this QR code where it is linking directly to the official page with all documentation. And here you can find also some more details about the list that is presented here about the activities that are targeted by the call. So what is funded? We are funding activities related to technology transfer, the access and the use of infrastructure for activities and always connected with AI and blockchain, proof of concepts, the development of business model, innovation development services, and activity related and services related to resilience and continuity plans. As cited before by Silvana, this is one of the calls that is organized and is proposing some challenges that are suggestions and activities that are and topics that have been studied and proposed by the AIBC EUROCluster partners and consortium, because they are the main topics that, according to the consortium experience, can need and can be improved by a funding of this kind, and can help SMEs in their increased digitalization process through these technologies, AI and blockchain. For the case of the services, we have identified 6 main macro challenges. We call them macro challenges. You can see them in this table. And as you can see from the column on the right, they are addressing in a different way and are focusing on one or more of the 4 industrial ecosystem that are addressed by the AIBC EUROCluster consortium and activities and projects. The first one is dealing with manufacturing, energy and logistics, and can focus and asks to focus about sustainability and green manufacturing, always exploiting technologies coming from AI and blockchain linked to the environmental impact. The second challenge is, we say, that can address all the 4 industrial ecosystem, and ask to work on a blockchain application to support transactions. The third is also dealing with the 4 ecosystem, industrial ecosystem, and connects with the identification of source of inefficiency and also exploit blockchain and artificial intelligence technologies to take corrective actions. The fourth challenge is focusing more on energy and mobility ecosystem, and is more devoted to the exploitation and the use of AI and blockchain application in the domain of renewable energy sources and smart grid management. And the last two calls, last two challenges are more connected with logistics and mobility. And the fifth is connected with the artificial intelligence exploitation for optimization of logistic paths, while the sixth is connected with the artificial intelligence and this application is smart mobility and pollution reduction within cities. For each of these main challenges, we have deepened the focus, also always through the contribution and the support of the consortium, to define some more challenges and topics that can also be I would say a direction for the SMEs that we are going to apply to participate to this call. For example, as I cited before, on the official page, we will find the guideline for the call, and so you can deepen and focus more on each of these challenges. Just as an example, and to explain better what we mean with the deeper explication. For example, in the case of the first macro challenge, the one that is dealing with the sustainability and green manufacturing and the exploitation and the use of AI blockchain technologies, strictly connected to environmental impact, there have been, we identified 4 main challenges and topics, I would say. So in the first case, the services and all the activities in the proposal can focus on how the technology, the AI blockchain approach, can enable and support the demonstration of CO2 consumption and emission in order to reach a more environmental friendly products. Then another topic is the one related to the data analysis, predictive and prescriptive maintenance manufacturing. The third one is more devoted to the investigation about general waste production and how this can be reduced in order to limit the environmental impact of the production processes, always, as you can imagine, exploiting AI and blockchain technologies. And the fourth, more detailed topic is connected with the reduction of energy consumption to increase the process efficiency, possibly with the introduction of innovative robotization systems. As you see, also in this case, each of these challenges focus on some of the 4 industrial ecosystem that we are addressing. This is just an example. As you see, for the second macro challenge, also we are suggesting 4 main topics. Just going on, we have also 4 main topics for the third macro challenge. The fourth macro challenge is suggesting 2 topics, while the challenge, devoted to logistics and mobility are suggesting 1 challenge and 2 challenge and topic respectively. You will ask during the proposal to suggest and to identify some of these challenges, and this can help us in evaluating the coherence and of the solution and the service that you are asking to be funded, that in order to fix and to assess if this is correctly exploited and identified. As also in the case of the previous call, the eligibility criteria are listed here. In this case, this call is going to provide support, financial support for one SMEs with coming from the ICT and AI and blockchain domain, but also companies in the manufacturing, mobility, logistics, and energy sector. There is a limitation about the official the date of funding, so before 31st December 2021, sorry. And as in also anticipated by Silvana, we asked the registration in the member state and the participation in the single market program. Some more information about the duration of the activity and the service provided. We asked for a maximum of 6 months from the signature of the agreement, and all activities has to be completed by September 2024. What we are funding with this call, the funding corresponds to the covering of the cost for the services and activities. So each company that is applying is asked to provide an offer signed and provided by a service provider, and then the costs are exclusively meant for performing these services and these activities. As I told you, you can find more details in the guideline. This is just to address you and to identify the difference, for example, with the previous call. Also in this case, we have a tentative selection of at least 20 companies that can receive financial support according to the amount of the funding. We are reporting here also the evaluation criteria, and also in this case, the focus will be of your proposal about the relevance of your proposal, the coherence, and the impact. In this case, the total amount, total score achievable is 100 points with a threshold of 66. And as you see, the relevance is more connected with the coherence of the proposal with the selected challenge, as I was citing before. And then also the solution that in all the service has to be adequate with the specific and general objective of the SME. The coherence is devoted to evaluate the consistency and the value of the service provider, and also the point related to the assessment of costs based on market costs, and also the timeline and organization of work that will be asked to you. Finally, the impact is also relevant because we want to check how this activity can contribute to enhance the innovation and digitalization level of your SME, and also how all this work and activity can exploit it if it is transferable and also replicable. Just quick overview of the timeline. Also in this case, the call is open, and there will be, as anticipated, 2 cutoff. First one on the 5th of September at 5 p.m. A second one on the 16th of January 2024. So we are going also toward next year. It will take approximately 6 weeks for the evaluate the proposal, and so approximately in the mid-October and the end of February, accordingly to the call, there will be the communication about the results. There will be also in this case, we will ask you to sign the agreement within 5 working days. As I anticipated, the project and all the activities must last at maximum 6 months from the signature of the agreement. In this case, the amount will be split into moments. There will be a first 2 moments. There will be a first moment of payment where the 20% of the total amount will be provided on the second month of activity. Then there will be a final report that will be asked in the case of first cutoff at the end of May 2024, in the case of the second cutoff at the end of September 2024, approximately. When all the material will be provided, there will all the procedure will be activated to reach the final payment of the remaining 80% of the total amount. This is the end for the what concern the service and product development call. I'm going here also to talk now about the international events call. In this case also the call is still open, and this is the one of the two calls together with the previous one that has to deadline, due also in this case dealing with events, so to allow you to participate to events in a, we say, in a larger period. Also in this case there is the QR code linking you directly to the material and the call page. In this case, the final, just as a recall, the AIBC EUROCluster is addressing and giving a total of 20,000 euros for this call, equally split in the two cutoff, and each SME can reach up to have a 2,000 fund amount. In this case, what we are considering with the word events, so we are expecting to support the participation at thematic summits, at international conventions, global forums, conferences, congresses, exhibitions, and fairs. Also, as before, you can have a look at the guideline with where more details are available. In this case, the beneficiary can be a SME or a startup that working on artificial intelligence and blockchain technologies. And we are expecting the participation in person at these events. Events must be focused on AIBC technologies, and these events can be both in Europe or outside Europe. I will detail it later. As I told, the two deadlines are connected with the fact that we want to support the participation to events in a wider period. So these events must happen between November 2023 and October 2024. Or the request is that, however, these events will be held after a signature of the agreement and before, obviously, that the AIBC project ends. In this case, the costs are related to the participation events. So we are including traveling costs, accommodation, subsistence, fees for participation in events, and both costs. In the guideline, you will find this table, and I'm just resuming it here. So the call is proposing a cost category, 5 cost categories associated with the region and the country where the events will be held, and also the kind of expenses that are related. So we are starting from a cost category A, that is for these events held that will be in Europe, but the event has to be in a country different from the country where the SME is located or as an office, and there's a maximum amount of 700 yes, euro that is fixed, and this can be exploited for the travel, accommodation, and subsistence for one person participating in the event. If there are 2 persons that are participating in the events, the same events, so the same condition, different from the country where the SME is located or as an office, and in Europe, the person can have, the SME, I would say, can have 1,000 euro for these expenses. When instead the event is held in the same country where the company is based or an office, but it has to be in a different region. The amount that is funded is lower, it's 500. And in this case, this will account for the travel, accommodation, and subsistence for one person. Also, the more people of the company can participate, but the maximum amount is always 500,000. There is another option related to the cost for participating in events, but related to registration fees, stands, and booths in these events that you can ask in these events to the organizer. In this case, also, the location can be Europe, EU member state, country participating in SMP. In this case, the total amount is up to 1,000. There will be, as you see in the guideline, there will be a wider explanation. There is also the possibility of combination of these cost categories. So cost category D can be associated with A, D can be associated with B, and D can be associated with C cost category. The last one is totally, let's say, autonomous, is totally uncorrelated with the previous one, and is dealing with events that are outside Europe, outside the EU member and outside countries participating in SMP. In this case, the fund is the amount is 2,000 euros and can cover any cost related to at least one person that participates. So in this case, everything is included: travel, accommodation, subsistence, registration, stands, and booths. The evaluation slide, just to recall, according to the amount that we are funding, the amount available, it is supposed that at least 10 companies can receive financial support. The evaluation process and the evaluation criteria is more streamlined. So there are mainly two sections with a total amount of 50 points and a threshold of 40. In the first case, the main focus is on the company profile. So it is important that the company profile is very near to the AIBC target. And also we're asking you to provide us information about where do you see your company within the next 5 years in terms of IE and blockchain. So we want to reveal, to see how this can be important for your company. And obviously another focus, another section is more on correlated to the event and the motivation to participate to the event. So the information that are asked are more devoted to understand this. So why this event can support the development of your company, and also short specific objective in the short term regarding the participation in the selected event. Also in this case, some quick timeline, as all the calls, they are open. And as I told before, there are two cutoffs. The first one on the 5th of December, the second one will be in January. The evaluation period will be shorter, so in approximately 3 weeks, you will have a final decision about your proposal. And so this is also connected to the participation to the event, and when you are going to, when you are able to travel, I would say, and go to reach to your event. So also in this case, there will be a requirement of a signature of the agreement, and also this will be rather fast as a procedure. So approximately in mid-October and mid-February, you will have all the procedure closed, and the payment of the lump sum will be held approximately in around 60 days after the attendance to the event and the reception of all the proof of documentation that we need from the beneficiary. I leave again the word to my colleague.
Thanks, Miriam. So we're now moving to the project proposal, which is the last one of these 4 open calls. This is the, let's say, probably the bit more complex proposal, but actually now we will try to deepen a bit the topics of this proposal together. Again, this call opened on the 6th of June and has a deadline on the 5th of September 2023. Here, once again, you have the QR code so that you can just jump directly to the page where you can find all the information needed to apply. This call is actually open to two different big categories of projects. First category has to do with the development of AI or blockchain prototype solutions for end users to arrive to the minimal viable product stage at least. And then the second category has to do with the testing through pilot demonstrator of new improved environmental friendly products, solutions, or AI and blockchain in the industry of reference. The total budget that you can see here will be split to consortia that we will deepen together in the coming slides with a maximum value of 65,000 euros per consortium. So let's move then to, once again, the macro challenges addressed by the call. As you will probably notice that also in this case, as already seen in the services and products development presented by my colleague, we are addressing macro challenges. These macro challenges, somehow, some of them are in common with services, but we are also observing some new topics. So let's move together one by one to these macro challenges, starting from the first topic referred to sustainability and green manufacturing using AI and blockchain. Then the second one refers to the blockchain application to support the transactions. The third one refers to the identification of sources of inefficiencies and the capacity to take corrective actions through blockchain and AI. The fourth has to do with the renewable energy sources and smart grid management thanks to AI and blockchain application. Fifth, AI for optimization of logistic paths. Sixth, with the AI for smart mobility and pollution reduction within cities. And the seventh has to do with the improving company services and products under a Web3 perspective. On the right part of the slide, once again, you can find actually the industrial ecosystem to which these macro challenges are addressing. Let's move then to the challenges, to the challenges that these macro challenges are addressing in a way to, let's say, try to build together a possible project proposal that your consortia might address when applying to this call. So let's move, for instance, to the macro challenge number 3. Let's say that your consortia is interested in applying for a project that has to do in terms of macro challenge to this topic of identify the sources of inefficiency and take corrective actions through the application and the adoption of blockchain and AI. Let's say then that thanks to this project proposal, then your project will be able to at least address one of these challenges that you read in this table. So let's say that in your proposal, starting from your, for instance, manufacturing ecosystem you belong to, then your project not only refers to the macro challenge number 3, but is also capable to address one of these small challenges. For instance, the blockchain as a tool, the first line, the blockchain is a tool to record and monitor production activities and products quality in order to support companies to identify problems as quickly as possible and take corrective actions promptly. So let's say that your project proposal might demonstrate how not only the macro challenge, but also at least one challenge of these that you read here is addressed. So let's move then to the other characteristics of this call, and let's go to the eligibility criteria. I talked about consortia. Why consortia? Because in this call we are actually addressing consortia of at least 2 SMEs, one belonging to the ICT sector, specifically to the AI or blockchain sector, and one belonging to, let's say, the more traditional industrial ecosystems, so manufacturing, mobility, logistics, or energy sources. It is important that each of these SMEs is funded before the 31st December 2021 and is registered in a EU member state or country participating to the Simple Market Program. Each project, in terms of duration, must be developed within 6 to 9 months after the full signature of the contract and must be completed before the 15th of September 2024, including then also the final reporting, which is one of the documents that you have to present to receive the lump sum. The eligible cost, just as a matter of sample, so this means that you can also include in your proposal all the costs, but just as a matter of sample, can, for instance, include the staff cost for the development of testing and the demonstration of the solution, the technical consultancy, if necessary, to develop your project, the equipment or consumable needed for developing or testing the solution, can also include any sort of travel and accommodation costs between beneficiaries, especially in case you do not work, let's say, nearby each other. And importantly, you can also include as a sort of hypothetical cost, also the cost to participate to the final event that will be organized by the AIBC EUROCLUSTER consortium. You are required, and this is a rule compulsory exclusively for the project calls, you are asked to come to the final event to participate and to present your project. Only after the participation to this final event, on which we will give you further information in the coming months. Only after the participation to this final event and the presentation of the documents required, you will receive the total financement that you got. Let's move then to the evaluation process. As said before, in this call, we will accept at least 8 projects, which means that at least 16 companies will receive the final support. You will be evaluated in this process with a bit more, let's say, detailed evaluation process that once again has to do with different sections that are referring in this case to first section, the excellent topic in terms of ambition, in terms of innovation, in terms of coherence. So the coherence of your project proposal with both the contribution derived from the development or the exploitation of the AI and blockchain applications. Then you will be evaluated also in terms of implementation, where your project will be evaluated in terms of appropriateness of the consortium and the team that you propose when you apply, in terms of coherence with the AIBC objective and goals, and in terms of cost effectiveness of the work plan that you will present. Finally, the section 3 has to do with the impact. So which kind of impacts this project will bring, not only to you, but also more broadly speaking. So we're speaking about a green impact of the project, of the business impact, of the relevance in terms of contribution to increase the industrial market and relevance of your consortium, and also about the scalability, so the replicability, the capacity to develop this project also in other environments in the future. Let's move then to the timeline that you will follow as a participant to this call. As said again, this call opened 10 days ago, will remain open till the 5th of September, and our suggestion is actually try to apply before moving on holiday, let's say. Try to apply as soon as you have your project proposal completed and clear. Do not wait at the very last minute. Try to send your application before the deadline. The evaluation period will take this time a bit more of time. We are speaking about 7 weeks. You will receive by mid-October then an information about the final results of your application, and then you have you will sign by the beginning of November the contract in case you are accepted. Once you sign the contract, you have up to 9 months to complete your project. And again, also in this case, you will be paid with a first small payment corresponding to the 20% of the total amount by the second month. You will be asked by the second month after the signature proposal, the signature of the agreement, you will be asked to present us a small report about the activities you have already activated, and then you will present by the 15th of September 2024 the final reporting. The final payment, as said before, so corresponding with the 80% of the total amount, will be corresponding to your company only after you will come to the final event, on which, as said before, more information will be provided in the coming months. You will come to the final event, you will present your project during this event, and then after that you will be paid. Important for all the calls, and this will be, of course, was pretty clear already from the beginning, all the calls must be sent in English language. This is everything about the call presentation, and now I leave the floor for the final slides to my colleague Silvana. Thanks.
Thank you, Alessandra, and thank you everyone that is participating too. These were the 4 calls that we have launched. All the information, of course, that we have presented is available in the guidelines and in all the materials that you have found. There's the website, this actually written here in the top. If you see of the open calls, you can go there and you'll find all the text related to the 4 open calls. All the guidelines are in PDF. You can download them, you can open online. And then these are the main things to take into account then when you are going to submit an application. So within each clause, let's say, for each call, there's an online application form, which is on the EU survey platform. So you'll find the link within the guidelines. And it's a form like, like usual, like kind of survey exactly form, which will ask you different questions, different information needed for the application. You can go directly to the EU survey, start filling it, you can save it and go back later. Or you can even, we have created a supporting document, which is an application form guide in a Word form that you can download on each open call website. And it gives you in a Word form all the questions that you will find in the EU survey application. It can allow you to even work, if you want, offline in the work document. And then what you must do is then take the information that you're gathering there and fill the EU survey platform. So the applications that will be considered are, of course, as Alessandra mentioned before, all in English, and they have been submitted through the platform. You cannot send the document, you cannot send anything via email. Everything has to be done by EU survey platform. Then with the process of after submission, then you may have to send some things through email, but for the purposes of applications, only through the survey platform, everything in English, and all documents have to be uploaded in case you have to upload documents, completed in order to be considered eligible. Of course, the other thing is to submit the application before the deadline. I remind you that the first deadline is on the 5th of September at 17 hours Brussels time. And then for the second one, you'll have more time. So what we are going to do for the 2 calls that have 2 cutoff is from the 5th of September at 17:01. We take the submitted applications. They go through the eligibility process, and we'll analyze them. Then from that on, the new applications that we receive will consider for the second cutoff. So then the evaluation and agreement procedure, as I was telling you, once you have submitted before the deadline, everything in English, all documents together, then the first step is an eligibility check, which is based on the conditions that each of the calls of the guidelines says. And if all the conditions and requirements are met, then a proposal can be, an application can be considered eligible, and you will receive a first communication stating that. So you'll be receiving a communication that says you're not eligible, or your communication is being, your application is being evaluated. Then we will have each call have an evaluation panel, which is composed by 2 or 3 representatives of the AIBC EUROCluster consortium. According to the call, you find this information also on each call guideline. In order to guarantee the transparency, the representative of the evaluation panel won't be, let's say, located or coming from the same country as the application SME is coming from. So that's in order to avoid any kind of, conflict of interest and be more transparent. In case that we need some specific expertise that is not within the project consortium to be activated, then we'll do that too, in order, to be part of the evaluation panel, like an extra expert, in order to, really assess well what you are proposing. This is mainly, let's say, tackling the call for project proposals and potentially the service and the project development. Then after all these parts, so first you get are you eligible or not, then you will be evaluated, and then the evaluation results will be communicated via email, and the agreement will be settled. So as everyone was, my colleagues were also stating, when after you receive the communication that your project, your activities, your application has been selected, there's 5 working times, so you can say okay, and we sign the agreement process. This is a quick, let's say, diagram in order for you to know all the path. Let's say is in this case is an overall of all the calls. Each call, each guideline has its own evaluation process within the guideline, so you can go check it out. But it's really easy and really, let's say, easy to read. So as I was mentioning, proposal submission, after deadline, then we check eligibility check. It can take from 5 to 10 working days according to the call. Then if the company is eligible, you go ahead. If you're not eligible because something was missing from the application form, or you as an SME or as a consortium don't fulfill all the requirements needed in order to be eligible, you'll get a rejection email. If you're instead eligible, then you go through the evaluation process, which is, as I was mentioning, done by this evaluation panel. It takes from 10 to 30 working days according again to the open call. So as you see, and if you remember, for the events open call, for instance, is like shorter the time, while for the project proposal call is longer. Of course, we need more time to go through the evaluation. And if then the application is selected, then you're gonna go receive an acceptance email with the agreement, and then we will proceed to the agreement signature. If your application is not selected, you will get also a rejection email saying, communicating to you, this to you. In case, for instance, if you want to, as you were mentioning, this, let's say this process is gonna be done once for the training and these project proposals open calls, it will, let's say, be carried out twice for the events and for the service and digitalization services and product development open calls, because they have 2 cutoff dates. So reporting, let's say if you have been elected, your application has been successfully evaluated and you've been selected for funding, then of course we have within the agreement, one of the main things after all the important, let's say, conditions about getting paid and about what you have to do in terms to be considered fulfill the agreement and everything, then we have the reporting, the monitoring, and the payment. So as you heard before, for the training open calls and the internationalization events open calls, when you will be receiving the lump sum when the activity ends, and you have to submit a report. The report have to contain it has to be a line of what you, let's say, said in the applications related to the objectives to your scope, that what you wanted to achieve with this activity. And then you will also have to present a certificate of a proof of attendance to these activities. You'll get then, of course, the 100% of the lump sum agreed at the end of the events. Then all the conditions and this will be also included in the agreement, but it's important for you to know that it will be happen. And you see, you have the timeline. If you go to each guideline timeline table, you'll see all the dates also on the timing. For the services and product development and projects, and then for the project proposal open calls, then as stated before, the reporting, monitoring, and payment will be done, let's say, especially the reporting and payment will be done with the first one within 2 months of the project, of the activity to have been started. And it will be, let's say, is linked to a first report. So the first report has to contain what let's say activities you have done already. It will be all, as I was telling you, further deepen through the agreement and in that process, because of course the content of each report may depend on what each of the activities and application SMEs are doing within their own project proposal or activity. Then at the end of the activities, after they have ended, you have to submit a final report. And if the final report is considered like it contains all the relevant information, it contains all the it shows all the impact that let's say the impact that this supporting activity created for your company or companies, then you will receive the 80% extra. Of course, for the project proposal elected, then as Alessandra mentioned, you will the idea is for you also to attend and present the results of the project in the final event. So in this case, all of these, of course, will be, that is also a condition in order to get the final report. Then this is a QR code for the Info&Match platform, which is the one that you use in order to enter this info day. This is a platform that we have created to support SMEs from all the admissible countries to participate to get in touch with other SMEs in case you want to, explore what you can do together to present a project proposal in the open calls for project proposals, or it can even be of getting in contact with potential service providers, potential training providers that are, let's say, registered. It's free for everyone to register. It's open. We have like we are just checking out that the profile of the companies that are being, let's say, subscribing or registering to the platform is aligned a little bit with, at least with the project scope. So as you see in the registration process, you have a tech savvy or company coming from the social ecosystem, or there's even another category which is only for service providers, training providers, etc. Take into account that maybe a service provider for a manufacturing and energy or a mobility or a logistics company could even be a tech savvy company, because at the end, everything evolves around the adopting of artificial intelligence and blockchain. So we encourage you to get in touch with other companies, even if it's just also to, explore collaborations, because actually, as we were mentioning, one of the main focus and objectives of this project is to promote the cross-fertilization, the interactions between companies, not only within the same country, but around Europe and abroad. So even if you also start talking with other potential partners within it. It's supporting also your internationalization, let's say, activities. So then also in the platform, you will be updated on we will create, there will be a page with we're gathering international events that could be interesting. It does not like mean that those events are gonna have, I don't know, those are the only events that you can propose to participate to. They're just something that, because we're tracking them down, because they are of interest for us also as clusters and everything, we thought on putting them in that way you have at least one place when you can also go browse around and see which events are coming linked to these topics. Then the last thing, in this B2Match platform, you will also find the frequently asked questions. So as we mentioned before, in order to make questions, please write to the email aibc@piemonteinnova.it. You'll see it in the next slides. You can send all the inquiries that you need, all the information that you want to check. And please also go check here, because the most common questions, we're gonna publish it also in this platform in order for you to know and be updated also on what can be done. And maybe, before sending an email, you can already check if your answer, let's say, if the answer of your question is already there. So let's say in terms of like a wrap up, this is the wrap up of the open calls that we just presented. So just for everyone to know, again, opening date was the 6th of June. Then the deadlines are gonna be the first one on the 5th of September and the second one on the 16th of January 2024. We have 4 open calls open. Then the training one, which has only one deadline in September, and is providing companies that support up to 5,000 euros for training courses, coaching, mentoring, etc., related, of course, to AI, blockchain, and twin transition. It has to be done within October of next year, if I remember correctly. Services and products development will have 2 cutoff dates. The project, the activities within this application must last up to 6 months. So that's why we have 2 cutoff dates. The first one should be starting around, let's say, end of October, beginning of November of 2023. Then the next ones should be starting around March of 2024. They can last up to 6 months, which means that if you have activities that will last less, is okay too. The important thing is like they fulfill that, and it can be used for activities related to technology transfer, to consultancy of IT specialists, technology, to use infrastructure that can support the testing also, or for the development of solutions, the development of proof of concepts, feasibility studies, business model development, etc. Then we have the internationalization events, which also have 2 cutoff dates. Again, the companies interested in that must come from the AI and blockchain, let's say, technology development, and they can receive up to 2,000 euros for participating to events that can be related to the different topics of the project. A heads up here also, the AIBC EUROCLUSTERS project is going to organize a mission. It should be next year around the summer. It's going to be a mission, again, aimed to AI and blockchain technologies. In order to participate to it, there will be another open call that will be launched. There will be a 2,000 euros, let's say, lump sum for participating to that one. And then it should be covering the cost of traveling and accommodation, because then the mission is going to be organized directly by the consortia. So you will get more information about that afterwards. But it's important for you to take it into account in case you want to participate to different calls. But the mission is also something that will be of interest for you, because the 2,000 euros, of course, go to sum up in your overall 60,000 euros that each SME can receive from the project. Then The last but not least, project proposals open call is to be presented by consortia of at least two SMEs. So in this case, one of the questions that was already around was if a consortium could be of 3 SMEs. Yes, consortium can be of at least 2 SMEs. Bear in mind that you have to fulfill, of course, all the requirements. So one of the SMEs, at least one of the SMEs, have to come from the AI and blockchain technologies part. The other have to come from the industrial ecosystems, and one or more if you want. But the important thing is like you follow these criteria, and also that the 65,000 euros is going to the consortia. So even if you are 3, 4, 6 SMEs presenting a proposal, the maximum amount you will get is 65,000 euros for all. This project proposal must last between 6 and 9 months, and as we were mentioning, they should start the end of October, beginning of November of this year. Just for everyone to know, I mentioned at the beginning the project partners. Here are them again. Here are us again. As you know, we are located in 5 different countries in the European Union. So we are located in Italy as Piemonte Nova, and our partner, the Environmental Park and the Clean Tech Cluster, are also located here. We're specifically in the Piedmont region, but like physically, let's say like that. But yeah, at least as a Fondazione Piemonte Nova, we are actually active in all the Italian territory. We have our German partner, BW Con Research, which is located, as it says, in Baden-Württemberg. So that's the link. There are some emails already there. So in case you want to contact them directly to have further support in your mother tongue, if you are coming from these kind of countries. So then we have Bulgaria, the ICT Cluster Bulgaria, which is the other partner of the project. They are located in Bulgaria. They have the offices in Sofia, but they also work at country level. In Spain, we have the Mobility and Logistic Cluster of Euskadi, so Basque Country. They have 2 locations, and yeah, in Vitoria and in San Sebastian. So, but they're open for supporting anyone also, let's say in Spanish tongue, or if in Basque also too. And then the other project partner is from Poland, is the Bydgoszcz Industrial Cluster. And they're, as I was mentioning, they're like focusing on manufacturing and supporting everyone that needs to be, let's say, the ones to check or at least talk a little bit in Poland. Of course, I also want to remind everyone that there's always the Enterprise Europe Network that is also supporting especially SMEs in any kind of, let's say, activities that they want to do that are related to digitalization, to participation, to cascade funding, to internationalization. So I know that all the European the Enterprise Europe networks are following also the different open calls from the Euroclusters. So if you are in contact with them, you can also contact them in order for them to support you in these applications. That's all from our side. So here is again the main, let's say, email you can write to. Please write in English when you send the questions to this email. Well, we are based in Italy. We can maybe talk a little bit of other languages, but in order for let's say, congruent with all the activities, please write the questions in English when you send them. If you want, of course, you have more questions and you want them to talk to someone in your local, let's say, in your own language, it's understandable because it's a good way to confront yourself. So then that's why you have all the contacts also of the partners. And of course, for the Italian partners, you can contact us also in Italian. But for the overall, please send them in English. And that's the QR code. I don't know if it's easier for you also to access to the Open Calls webpage. So that's all from my side. I want to thank a lot my 2 colleagues here, Alessandra and Miriam, for their presentation of the calls. Hopefully they're all really clear now. I know maybe you will, we recommend for you to go and check all the guidelines, all the document that you find there. Go to the EU survey also and check it out. As we were mentioning, you can even start filling it and save it and then submit it in a later stage, not later than the deadlines. And then, yeah, we're here for you to support in any kind of way that we can in terms of answering your questions. And we have created this platform also to provide you an extra tool for you to be able to, I don't know, explore a little bit more and get to know a little bit more what you can do. I also want to send my colleagues in the background, Chiara Fantin and Andrea Timaru, which are here, but managing all this webinar today, and all the partners also too for all their contribution. We're all working together. We're all doing this for all the companies. So we're hopefully you can all participate, and we hopefully receive a lot of applications from your side, eligible ones. So be also really careful when you're doing like all the requirements in order for you to be as successful as you can. That's it from our side. Thank you very much for participating, and send all the information and all the questions that you may have, and we are here. So remember the deadlines. Other thing, don't leave it to the last moment to submit. You have around 2.5 months from now. We know the holidays are in the middle, but that's why if you are going on holidays in August, we recommend for you to submit at the end of July, and that way you go really easy to the holidays and you can take a good, enjoy them. And if you're going on holidays in July, then you will have August to do so. But still, maybe just for you to know, better to submit them before. You never know at the last time what can happen. So thank you again. Thank you, everyone. And
thank you. Have a nice day, you all. Thank you for the participation.
Thank you. Thank you also to Silvana. Bye.
Bye-bye.